Geostorm being the worst that I've ever experienced.
I need to see that one.
It's so bad. No, it's not fun bad. It's like, they don't even give you a storm. There's not even a storm. The one thing you want from a movie called Geostorm is a geostorm.
Right. A storm with Geo involved.
Right. Like, they explain what Geostorm is, and then the rest of the movie is them trying to prevent one, and they succeed.
Ugh.
The fuck?
That's stupid.
Who pays for that? Well, me.
Welcome once again to Noah's Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Josh, a.k.a. Ninja Josh.
Sure.
To match good old Samurai Joe.
Yeah. I get it.
This week, we're loving you, the audience, like God.
Mm-hmm. Unconditionally.
Unconditionally. Because it's time for Unconditional. A movie about a woman who doesn't know how to let go.
Correct.
Lots and lots of flashbacks.
A woman who needs a therapist.
She needs a therapist real bad.
Real bad.
Lots of flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And a man who is equal parts very kind and charismatic and the dumbest man on the planet.
Yes.
That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's lucky he's pretty.
And the movie's about racism.
Yes.
In a large
Straight
part.
up, yeah.
As we said, the movie's called Unconditional. If you didn't hear last week, it's available on Netflix. You can watch it right now. Would you recommend it?
I wouldn't not recommend it. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Actually,
there's a lot of really stupid parts.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little bit.
Okay.
I was late at night and I was so tired. And it was just a choke up, not an actual cry. Right. But I still was like, wow, I'm being affected.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, because we're going to get to that, definitely, what are your first impressions going in?
My first impression, you sent me a screenshot of the movie on Netflix to make sure I watched the right thing, which is very smart of you. Mm-hmm. And it's just a picture of the main girl cradling the head of a horse, and right. I freaked out on you a little bit.
You said, is this a fucking horse movie?
Yeah. Because you know me well enough to know that my least favorite genre of movie is horse movie.
It's not a horse movie.
So, yeah, it's not a horse movie. It was just a picture of her with a horse. So it's fine. My first impression was terror and anger, but now that as soon as I found out it was not a horse movie, I felt fine about it.
Alright, and for me, obviously, I've seen this movie before, or at least most of it. I realized watching it, I had only seen about half of it before, but it is, yeah, it's fine. It does bother me because, again, the main male lead is one of the stupidest people on the planet in any film ever.
Yeah.
Idiocracy people are smarter than this man.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
He's like, well, at least he's only an idiot in one respect that we'll get to.
Yeah, but it's like the biggest respect.
Have you never known people who just didn't know how to take care of themselves?
But like, damn.
I know, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to give another viewpoint.
The people.
He's one of those people who gives to the point where he just neglects himself unnecessarily.
It's so stupid.
It is stupid.
All right, but we'll get there. We begin the film with a terrible Southern accent.
Terrible. That's the only thing I wrote down.
Yeah, it is a really, really bad one. Actually, just last time,
bad Southern accents is a theme.
Yeah,
it's a thing. I'm going to call it a Christian trope.
Yeah, if you're from the South, you gotta talk really like this.
Play it up. Yeah,
it's like I'm from the South.
Yeah,
we do have people that talk like that, but it's not that common.
And it's not. No, it's not to that degree. Even the twangiest you get, it seems natural. This seems unnatural. This seems forced.
It's clearly.
I looked it up. The actress is from Texas, so she should know better. But she also went to Juilliard, so I think all of the Texas was trained out of her. And I don't think she
turn it back on.
Right.
Forgot how.
She completely forgot how to Texas.
Actually, a good example of a Southern accent in a movie is this random choice: Ed TV. Matthew McConaughey.
Well, he's fucking Southern.
I know, but Matthew McConaughey in the movie
points
out the characters. Like, I've been educated, so I don't talk with a Southern accent. But when I want to, I just slide right in. And he does his probably normal Matthew McConaughey voice. It's like, that's what Southern people sound like.
I actually have never heard him not be Southern. Like, I can't think of an example of him not doing that normal McConaughey, laid back, lean against a wall drawl.
But it's just, there's an example of how most Southern people can do. Like, even if they don't know how to turn it off, it is not so over the top that you're like, oh, you're super Southern.
Well,
this how you must talk. Okay. Our main character, Samantha, is telling us about herself over an animated introduction, and how she used to be a dreamer and a storyteller, but that her husband was murdered by a man in a red hoodie who left behind a mechanic's rag. And so she's given all of that up, and she can never move on. She's lost her faith and her hope and her will to go on. In her words, that killer didn't just take my husband's life. He took mine, too.
Yep.
Title card. Unconditional. With lens flare. It was a nice big old lens flare right on the U, I think. It was wee.
That's God peeking through.
Good old J.J. Abrams must have been part of this one. It's a deep cut, possibly.
No, not at all. Well, not to me, I guess.
It has been an undisclosed amount of time, but she arrives somewhere in the rain while having flashbacks to the crime scene her husband was found at. Basically, she was called to the scene for some reason, or she passed by, who knows.
I think she was... what?
There's a scene where she's outside the crime scene. Her husband's dead.
Yeah.
And she, runs... And the cops grab her so she can't,
I think she was with what? Oh, that's right. I never figured out how that happens. Yeah, okay.
So, that's the thing. If she wasn't passing by on her own, there's no way someone called her.
Right.
Like, oh, I think your husband's dead. Will you come check it out while we're still here?
Right.
No cop ever has done that.
And they never explained why she was there, because we find out later exactly what happened that night.
Yeah, and
she was not present whatsoever.
So it makes no sense, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. She happens to walk by the projects a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Well, she does from here on.
That's true. She lives on a farm outside the city.
Yeah.
But she was just that night, was like, hey, I'm going to go to the project. What's up?
It's notable that fake Southern accent lady also has fake red hair.
Is it?
Very fake red hair. You couldn't tell?
Just looks like hair to me.
No, it also has very...
I'm so used to hair being different colors at this point.
Right.
That I don't think I even noticed it.
Well, I noticed, because scene by scene, she had different, varying degrees of roots showing. So I could probably piece together their filming schedule based on how much root was showing on her head.
She grabs a fucking huge gun out of her glove box. It's massive. It's bigger than her.
It's like the size. It's both of my hands combined.
It's like her forearm.
Yeah, right.
It's huge gun.
I don't know guns, so I can't tell you what kind of gun it is, but it's,
we can tell it's a revolver.
It is a revolver.
She grabs this giant gun out of her glove box, and she heads into an alley. And two kids run into a convenience store, and the younger girl writes down that she's scared. If it wasn't obvious, it will be. She doesn't speak, so she writes everything down. The older brother insists that they're doing this, whatever this is. We then cut to another character. The beautiful man.
Gorgeous.
Michael Ealy.
Gorgeous man. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's an actor who has a career.
Yeah.
And we see him falling into his own home as though he's being chased or he's actively dying. We cut again really quick to the kids who are stealing from the store. They start stealing food, but they're chased away by an overweight security guard. And we find out that this beautiful man needs to get attached to his dialysis machine. Mm-hmm. And he's praying as he's attaching himself because he cares about those two children.
As he's touching himself? Oh, attaching himself.
You made this movie way weirder.
You did. That was your pronunciation that I misheard.
But he's attaching himself to the machine, and they show a photo he has of the two thieving kids. Mm-hmm. And then we cut
Establishing a relationship
because he's like, you take care of those two kids. I care about them.
Yeah.
Then we cut again to Samantha in the alley, putting the gun to her head.
Yeah. After she lies on the ground in what we assume is the position that her husband was in when he died, she just puts her face on the the ground.
Yeah, that's
true.
And
it seems weird to me that I thought she was going to try to shoot herself there in his spot, but then she gets up. I guess she just wanted to lay there for a second.
That's the closest I've ever been to you.
Right, and then she gets up and sits against a wall or
Yeah, she's against a wall.
Yeah.
But it is
Gun
really
to her
this
face.
chaotic right in the beginning. There's so many cats. There's so much happening.
Right.
And it doesn't really happen to the rest
a lot
of
of
the movie.
drama. Just, you've got suicide, you've got thievery, you've got someone slowly dying of some sort of kidney failure.
Yeah. Just as Sam's about to pull the trigger, one of the children is hit by a car. So she gets up and she grabs the kid out of the street and she takes it off to the hospital. We then meet, officially, Macon and Keisha, who are the children.
Do you think he was named after Macon, Georgia?
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is this movie... where does this movie take place? Do we know?
I don't know if they ever say.
They don't say.
It doesn't seem like Georgia. It seems
like
more Texas-y, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
It's Southern.
It's Southern.
For sure.
Definitely. We meet Macon and Keisha. Macon is the older brother, and he strong-arms Sam into coming back the next day after Keisha does wake up because she's not up yet. Literally, he's like, "You're going to see you tomorrow?" She's like, "Sure." He's like, "You made a promise. You got to do it now."
Yeah.
And he makes her shake his hand. She's like, "Fine, you got it."
He's a smart whip.
He's abrasive, is what I thought.
He is abrasive, but he's also, smart.
Yeah, he's smart. I don't like him. Spoilers. On her way out the door, she overhears our male lead, the previously mentioned beautiful man, and he says that he's Joe Bradford. And she's shocked to see old Joe, and he clarifies that they were best friends as children, because there's a nurse there, and the nurse is like, "What's happening? You two are, being real weird."
Yeah.
And he begins to, what I thought, was put the moves on her.
Yeah.
He's being real charming, but it also maybe helped.
I think he's just being pretty.
Yeah, that he's
accidentally being pretty towards her.
And this leads to a flashback about when Sam and Joe met for the first time. And he stood out because he was the only black kid, so pretty obviously that stands out. And he and Sam became friends because she is not a racist.
Right.
Unlike all the other kids.
She was the only one who talked to him like a human.
This causes her to become a target of bullies too, and baby Joe beats the shit out of this lead bully kid.
Wails on this kid.
He cracks his jaw, and then he gets on him, and he keeps hitting him until he stops moving.
Yeah. Basically, first day of school, murders a child.
Baby Joe is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, it is a little bit refreshing that the movie just embraces the racism angle.
Yeah.
Instead of pretending that it was or would be anything else.
Right.
He's the only black kid. He's got a fro.
Yeah.
And all the kids are like, "Nah, I don't want you around here, black kid."
Right.
And the lead bully that he beat up literally calls him a coon.
I know. It is in your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's good because a lot of other movies would be like...
They sugarcoat it or whitewash it, yeah.
And it's like, no, people are racist.
Yeah.
He was ostracized because they're racist.
Right. This is a real-life experience that a lot of kids have faced.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's have this small child call him a coon.
Yeah.
Which was a bold choice at least.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
It also should be noted that Joe did not beat him up because he called him a coon. He beat him up because he tripped Sam. Because he was like,
got protective.
You got a new boyfriend. And he tripped Sam. And he was like, apologize to her. And he didn't, so he beat the shit out of him. Yeah. He did not really care about the racism.
Right, he was probably already used to that by then.
Right. He seemed pretty resigned to it overall. All right, the next scene. Sam goes to see her horse after she and Joe separate from the hospital. He gives her his card.
Yeah.
And, he's like, "Come see me sometime," with his also pretty bad fake Southern accent. But Sam goes to see her horse, and she lives on a farm outside of the city, and she smells a jacket, which I assume was her dead husband's, and definitely smells like nothing now. He's been dead for...
No, those scents stick around. She definitely didn't
that
wash
long,
it.
Though?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but
He probably sweat a lot. He was out on the farm. It's in there, in the fibers.
Okay.
Also, I think it's like... I like, one of the things I liked about this movie is there's some detail that was actually paid attention to. She is throughout almost this entire movie in very baggy, unkempt clothing that it's easy to assume she's just wearing her husband's clothes every day, everywhere.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Just it's clearly men's clothing that she's wearing at all times. I don't think it's just because she's given up on life. I think she's just completely
enwrapped.
Yeah, just her whole life is grieving.
Yeah.
So I that was a subtle little choice that was made that I thought was...
noticed that.
Yeah.
See, I don't pay attention to clothes or hair and stuff.
I very much do.
This is why we bring you. After the smelling and the sort of settling into her home, we unveil her workspace, or what was previously her workspace.
Yeah, I'm jealous of this workspace.
It's gorgeous,
It's gorgeous.
I mean, she lives on a giant farm outside of the
She lives on a giant farm. She has this huge loft where she's natural light, and she has all of her art stuff all spread out.
But now there's no art stuff here anymore. It's just stuff about her husband's death. It's more or less her.
Oh yeah, she has a murder wall.
Yeah, she has a murder wall.
I forgot.
But she doesn't have a lot of clues. She just knows red hoodie, mechanics rag.
She drew. She drew pictures of a guy in a red hoodie.
Yeah, so she's drawn lots of photos of some guy in a red hoodie.
Right.
And the flashback with her husband is her working on some children's book, because apparently she wrote children's books, called Firebird. Mm-hmm. And he asks her about it, and she plays a hilarious prank on him, where she hides a chicken in his drawer or dresser or something.
They have no chemistry.
Oh, none.
They should have found another actor for that part. They did not seem like a married couple at any point during the flashbacks. They seemed like it seems like every flashback with them as a married couple is them on their first date.
Right. Just we're just getting to know
awkward each other. And just not sure how to touch each other.
If to touch each other.
Or if to touch each other.
He touches her forehead with his finger. Is that fine?
Is this okay? Do you like this?
But she runs away on a horse so that he can chase her on a horse and they can have a horse ride and see.
Which I guess she planned far ahead because it was a horse that already had his saddle on. Yeah, he was ready to go.
I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're.
She planned ahead. She's like, I'm gonna put chickens in the thing and then I'm gonna have his and my horse ready to go.
But they
have what seems to be their first kiss.
Yeah, they ride until sunset.
Yeah.
And then they smooch at the sunset.
Right.
Because this is an artsy movie now. No, but for real, I hated this entire scene.
It was so cheesy and awkward and terrible. Maybe he was a creepo on set and she refused to let him touch her. Unless absolutely necessary. Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to show us these people fucking.
No.
Just this is not a simple, I'm going to give you a tiny smooch.
Make us believe that they at least like each other.
Right. I guess that's why they killed him. In the original script, he was probably alive. They're like, oh, you're terrible at this. Pow, pow. All right. The next morning, Macon calls Sam, and he wakes her up, saying that she broke her promise to come back. He tells her that they've been sent home from the hospital because it's good old Southern medical care.
Right.
And then he strong-arms her again into bringing them M&Ms and a pizza. It's some sort of grift, it seems, because neither of the kids actually seem upset, but it's fine. Keisha's nearby, and she's kind of giggling.
Yeah.
And Megan's like, I got it. I'm gonna get pizza. Sam does follow through, and she arrives at their place with pizza and M&Ms. And she meets the kids' caretaker, who I initially thought was the grandmother.
Yeah,
but is not related to them in it at all.
We find out later, yeah.
And they exchange pleasantries. Generally her and the caretaker, until Sam notices the next door neighbor, T. Here's the thing she notices about him, besides vaguely intimidating black man running around.
Right.
Is he's a mechanic. So she glares at him.
You know how she knows that? He's carrying a red mechanic's rag.
That's right. She looks
Could
at
it be the red mechanic's rag?
She looks at him super suspiciously because he's a mechanic, but doesn't do anything stupid yet. Because she's in the neighborhood, she then goes to see Joe, who lives in a rundown place because this is the projects, baby. That's what the caretaker says to her.
Yeah. Welcome to the projects.
That's right. Sam, upon arrival, is interrupted by Denise, a coworker of Joe who is expecting her. And we realize that Joe is definitely intentionally surrounding himself with pretty women.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Denise is very good
I'm not
looking.
sure about intentionally. He's a very pretty man. I feel like this is just something that happens in his life that he doesn't even recognize.
That's true. It's not really up to him at a certain point.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he's rejecting anybody else. I think it's just these women find their way into his life.
That's fair. Actually, that's my next line. When you look like Joe, you would too.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Dude is... He's a good-looking guy.
He's a very good-looking guy. I know him from The Good Wife.
What is he in The Good Wife?
A fellow lawyer who's also friends with Will Gardner. And
I've never seen the show.
I know. That's what I'm telling you like that.
After he and Sam see each other in person for the first time in a while, whatever. After Sam comes in the house, Joe immediately tells Sam that he needs her help. And they take Juice outside to greet children as they are coming off the school bus. And this is a scene where we essentially establish what Joe is about.
Which is just an amazing human being all around.
Basically.
Right.
Because the kids love Joe so much. And they come off the bus, and he greets them all, and they're very excited to see him.
They all call him Papa Joe.
His name is Papa Joe, and it's time for Freestyle Friday.
Yeah.
So all the kids sing songs and dance, and Joe even plays some jazz.
It's all very attractive.
It's like, his name is Joe. He plays something. And it's just a silly little song, but all the kids do it, and they bring in Bernie. Yeah. And they bring in Raven, and they bring in whatever else kids there are.
Right.
And while all of this is happening, Denise asks Joe if he's done his dialysis today. And he says no, but that he will. Because I don't want to lose the real point here. Yeah. He's a fucking idiot. Right. He's incredibly stupid.
This is where we could have used our friend. Yes. How long does dialysis take?
It takes a couple hours. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. He's just like unwilling to not be there for all these people long enough to keep him alive, himself alive. Yeah.
So the thing that we have to understand, in the beginning of the movie, Joe fell into his house trying to get to his dialysis. Right. Now, he wasn't doing anything before. That's what we can probably tell. Right. Because he wasn't busy, as far as we know. So he could have done dialysis first thing in the morning. But he's waiting.
He has his own dialysis machine. He doesn't have to go anywhere.
So the reason Hillary mentioned we know someone who has 2 kidney transplants, and before that had to get dialysis constantly. Right. I've asked him about it. Getting a dialysis machine is not easy. You can't just get one. Right. It's either incredibly expensive or it's some sort of weird regulations or rules about it. Point is, you don't just have one in your house. He had to go to a hospital all the time to get it done for him. If you have a dialysis machine in your house, you are incredibly lucky. Yes. Just do your dialysis.
Just do your dialysis.
You are going to die. It's not optional. And if you wait until you are actually physically dying, right, you don't deserve a transplant because you're too stupid to take care of yourself.
I'm serious. Like, it's not like he's a otherwise healthy guy, mentally healthy. Yeah. So it's not like he's young. It's not like he's like living his life. He's an alcoholic who just doesn't show up for anything, has a hard time with responsibility, or he's like super depressed and just can't find a reason to live. Like he has all these reasons to live. He's very optimistic and very like loving and kind and all these things. There is no reason this man wouldn't do the one thing that he has to do every single day.
Like, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You take time. Yeah, it's clearly just
it's just to add drama to the whole thing, but it also makes him look like an idiot.
Like, I don't know how dialysis works. Maybe you need to do it in the middle of the day. Yeah. You could do it first thing in the morning. Yeah. You could do it at night. Right. Before you go to sleep. You have all this time in the day, and he refuses to do it because he's stupid.
Yeah, there's no other explanation.
Even if you need it every day.
There's no other explanation. It's not like if he was working like 2 jobs and just like was trying to squeeze in his dialysis because he was trying to keep his house or something like that. Yeah. That's some excuse. That's some reason. But it's just like when it opens up when he's like falling into his house, he just had like a bag of groceries or something, right? He's like, he just went grocery shopping.
I didn't even know if he had anything.
No, he had a bag that like when he fell, like stuff rolled out of it. It could have
my eggs. Like, you couldn't wait for eggs?
You couldn't do your dialysis, then go grocery shopping? Like, what is happening? Right. Yeah.
It's so stupid. And this is not the last time it's going to come up. No. I just want to cover the point, because I have asked him about it. The guy we know who has the transplants. I asked him, like, how long would you wait to do your dialysis? Right. He said, never. You do it as soon as you can, because it's fucking stupid. So we're done giving Joe too much shit at this point, but I'm not saying I'm done entirely. We'll see. But Sam brings the mood down of the kids doing their song and dance thing because she's called out by the kids to do a thing, but she completely freezes up instead. She just stands there awkwardly like,
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. They're like, Sam, her name is Sam.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And she's something, whatever. And they make her like, they want her to like perform in some way. She can sing, she can dance, she can do anything.
I would have done the same thing she did.
And she's just like,
I choose nothing.
But she doesn't even try to go along with it. Right. She just freezes like a deer in the headlights. Right. And Denise saves the situation. And so Sam goes back to see Macon and Keisha. And now finds out for certain that T, the mechanic, owns a red hoodie because Macon runs out of his house wearing it.
Convenient.
Right. So she immediately goes to the police to report this stunning revelation. And he tells her that she's grasping at straws. And then, because this movie's not...
The police officer is so dismissive.
Yeah, he's very dismissive.
Again...
But he's also not wrong, really.
I mean, Yeah, but you have this, like, grieving woman. You could be a little... granted, we don't know how often she calls him.
Right.
It could be...
I met a mechanic today. I took my car to the Pet Boys.
I was at Target. I saw a red hoodie for sale. Can we track him?
It could be either.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's very dismissive. You're right.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, he is correct that she is grasping at straws.
Yes.
In a very serious way.
She needs to actually let go of this.
A mechanic with a red hoodie is not that uncommon.
He needs to help her get a therapist, and then she'll leave him alone.
I don't know what colors hoodies come most often in, but I'm pretty sure gray, black, and red might be the top 3 colors.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I'm not surprised at all.
No.
So it's just...
Especially in that area, because all the bangers wear red in that area.
As he says.
As he says.
All the bangers wear red.
Yeah.
And then this movie's not done with the racism angle, which, again, is mostly appreciated because he says he is not a racist. But then he compares all the people that live in the projects to pit bulls.
Yep.
Because they grow up and become what nature intended or some bullshit like that.
Which gets me on two levels.
Yeah.
It's like, 1, blatant racism.
Yeah.
I'm not racist, but obvious racism.
Yeah.
2, pit bulls do not just grow up to be vicious.
Right.
They are trained to be vicious. Right. Pit bulls are sweethearts.
It's funny because...
It is not in their nature. That is just the dog that is chosen most often to be
vicious.
Right.
So that's funny because I remember when I was a kid, and when you were a kid, because we're roughly the same age, the big dangerous animals for us, dogs, were Dobermans and Rottweilers.
It was Chow Chows. Also, Chow Chows are weirdly for how fluffy and adorable they are. They're very aggressive.
I just looked that up the other day because someone asked.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear Chow Chows as a kid. I just knew Dobermans, Rottweilers.
Right.
Don't go near a Doberman; they will fuck you up. Don't go near a Rottweiler; they will fuck you up.
Rottweilers are strong.
Right. But now things have moved on, so now pit bulls are the dog of choice. And everyone's like, "Watch out for pit bulls; they're super dangerous." No, they're fucking not. No one cares about Dobermans anymore. Because people stopped using...
Unless you're raising actual wolves, you do not have a dog that will naturally be super duper aggressive. Right. Most dogs are bred for domesticity.
Right. And the thing about it is, it's very obviously, because the dog changes every generation or so, that the people who give the dogs the bad names, let's say gangster types, banger types,
or Michael
Vick's types, dogfighting types, they... choose the dogs who they're going to raise.
Right.
The dog then gets a reputation for being vicious because they've made it vicious.
Yes.
And then because that dog gets the rep, more people who are like that make that same type of dog equally vicious. So it's a cycle.
It is.
Because when I was a kid, it was a totally different type of dog than it is now.
None of which is the dog's fault.
Right. And in 10 years, we're going to move on from pit bulls, and it's going to be German Shepherds.
Oh,
they're going to make German Shepherds super vicious.
They're still police dogs, so maybe not. Who knows?
But maybe.
Yeah.
They'd be a good choice.
They are a good choice.
There's a reason police use them.
I know.
And it's going to be German Shepherds. They'll be like, watch out for them German Shepherds. It's like, no, they were fine. Stop being fucking stupid.
Here's what you watch out for. Horrible people. Watch out for horrible people who abuse animals.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's that simple.
Yeah.
I was told to be scared of Dobermans and Rottweilers. I'm not scared of any dogs.
Right.
But if I was going to be scared of a dog, it would have been those.
If a Rottweiler came running at me, I would, well, I guess if any dog comes like aggressively at you, you would probably react. But specifically, Rottweilers, because they have such strong jaws and bodies, you would have to be a little standoffish. But not because I was told. Yeah. It's because that is a natural reaction to a very large animal with really strong teeth and jaws.
It might be bigger than you.
Male ones, probably.
You are not a large person.
I am not a large person. At the same time, I will fucking, wrestle. I will wrestle with the Rottweiler. They are hilarious and adorable.
Yes, your point about the pit bulls is correct. The cop then goes further to lament that saving Macon and Keisha was possibly a bad idea because who knows what they'll become.
This guy needs to die.
He's a terrible human and a worse cop.
This guy has power.
Actually, this reminds me of something, and it's been bugging me, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. The phrase that people use to defend bad cops, a bad apple, don't let the bad apple spoil the whole bunch.
Yep.
That's not what the fucking phrase means.
No, it's not.
The phrase... don't let the bad apple spoil the whole bunch. Means
get that bad apple out of the bunch.
Out of the entire bucket.
Because it will spoil it, because that's how, that's
how spoilage works.
Right.
You take the bad apple, you throw it away, so the rest of the apples aren't infected by it.
Right.
The bad apple literally spoils the whole bunch if you don't get rid of it.
Right.
It is not not all of them are bad. You can't spoil the bunch. Is he still hired? Does he still have a job? Then he's spoiling the bunch. That's the meaning of that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's what the saying means.
Yes.
God.
I know.
Okay. I don't know how we got off on a cop tangent.
I love it.
I'm into it. All right. But I think I'm done there. Sam goes back to the projects after seeing this stupid asshole of a cop, and she sees a fire. Like, people, they're having like a fire. They're hanging out and drinking beers and having a fire.
Right.
And this causes her to have another flashback, because this is a flashback heavy
Triggered.
movie. Triggered by a fire. But it's not, like, she's not remembering anything in particular. She's always remembering just random facts.
Right. She sees a fire and she's like, one time we had a fire in our fireplace.
Right.
Right. Which I guess is kind of how trauma and, like, grieving works. So, like, everything reminds you of the thing you're...
But she's reading, in the flashback, she's reading her latest children's book to her husband. And I honestly completely zoned out.
Firebird.
Yeah, because I'm not a kid, and her book doesn't matter to me. It doesn't interest me. If it's a metaphor, I'm not going to get it.
It was a pretty well-written little short story.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Like, I'm not a kid.
Did you get what it meant?
I wouldn't listen.
God damn it, Josh. Well,
it's the only part I really zoned out of, but I was like, I don't care.
It really envelops. It's like the whole movie. Like, it envelops, like, what the movie is about.
What was it about?
Okay, so Firebird is a bird. Mm-hmm. It's an oriole, specifically.
Okay.
Who was asking its mother about why... I'm going to paraphrase. I think it was, like, why God lets storms erase the sun.
Okay.
Or whatever, or make the sun go away. And the mother explains that the sun didn't go anywhere, that if you work hard, if you fly high enough, you know, it'll come back. So the Firebird has this whole journey where he flies through a storm and finally breaks through the clouds and sees that the sun's not gone. It was there the whole time. And then she, like, whatever the last thing is that she says is the meaningful part that I don't remember. But basically, like, that, like, everything's temporary. Like, the light is always there. Right. It just goes, it just feels like...
And the light is God's love.
Yes. The light is God's love. The sun is
God's love. It's always there.
It's also, like, happiness, like, all of that. It's still there, so it's supposed to be... It's really about her depression.
Right. Okay, cool. See, that's why I keep Hillary around. She sometimes pays attention to things that I don't.
I actually think we pay attention to the exact opposite things. It's kind of perfect.
We're back at Joe.
Firebird. Sorry, the way she says is so stupid.
Firebird.
Firebird. Oriole. The Oriole Firebird.
So we're back at Joe, and he's taking care of the children of the project some more. He rewards them with candy as they have all gotten good grades. Mm-hmm. And Macon
He could pick a healthier snack. Give these kids some vegetables.
You gotta encourage them the way they will be encouraged.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you don't give them candy and you give them food, like real food, that's encouraging also.
He did give them food earlier.
Did you see what was in those boxes?
No, but...
It was garbage food.
Food is better than no food.
It was like Pop-Tarts and sugar cereals, and this is why diabetes is so rampant.
It may be true, but at least he's feeding them.
Sure.
Some food is better than no food.
Correct.
And some food is better than candy, even if it's bad food.
Sure.
You disagree?
Some food is better than candy?
Like food, even if it's sugary cereal, is better than candy. No,
sugar cinder is candy.
It is candy, but it is at least whole grains and stuff like that.
Oh my god, no. Don't even get me started on this. It is candy. There is no nutritional value.
There's some nutritional value.
The idea that wheat is heart healthy was...
I'm not talking about heart healthy. I'm just saying it will keep you alive and candy won't.
Well, it'll keep you alive the exact same way candy will, which is there are calories in it.
But point is, he's given kids candies for good grades. And Macon says that he has also gotten all A's. But Joe won't believe him until he brings him a report card. And Macon doesn't want to do that for reasons unknown.
He doesn't want his name on the board.
Yeah. And he scowls because Joe isn't giving him his reward that he hasn't earned. Let's be clear.
Yeah. Or hasn't proved he earned.
Hasn't proved he's earned, right. Sam comes back, and so Joe tells the story of when she saved his life to the kids. Mm-hmm. As children... They go down to Joe's training ground, where Joe trains to be a samurai warrior, because that's what he wants to be.
Yep. And she's so cute.
It's pretty cute.
It's so cute. She wants to be a writer. She's carrying a little notebook around.
Mm-hmm. She draws birds and stuff.
Also, the little girl playing her looks like she looks like a 3-year-old comparatively. Like, he's like tall and looks like a normal.
She's missing all of her teeth.
Well, no, and she's also teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Like, she is teensy tiny. So precious.
Yeah. She's got about 4 teeth in her head.
Right.
And she's much smaller.
Yeah, they're supposed to be in the same grade, right? Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It was cute.
But while Joe is showing off his training, a rattlesnake appears. And he gets bitten by it, mostly because he attacks it first.
He does. He tries to kill it with a mop.
Yeah.
But it's childhood. He saw himself as a samurai. He's going to kill this thing.
But he passes out, and Sam runs off to get help. And so he wakes up in the hospital and asks his grandma if his dad is coming. And his dad is not. And then he asks his grandma why his dad doesn't love him. So Sam comes to visit him in the hospital and gives him a picture of him as Samurai Joe that she drew.
Yeah.
And he uses the story to tell the kids, especially those without fathers, that no matter how hard life gets, you're never really alone. He and Sam finally have a chance to actually talk and choose to do so about Keisha.
Yeah, they don't know anything about their lives still. They haven't caught up on each other's lives, and there's a lot going on there.
So we know she stopped talking for as yet undisclosed reasons, but she did speak previously, and Macon tells her that she owes him a quarter. He, interrupts and he's like, you owe me a quarter. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's because of the phone call he made that she...
Right. He keeps tabs.
Yeah, he keeps tabs. Keisha and Sam bond over horses, and Sam takes the opportunity to eye T's place suspiciously. T is the neighbor.
T is the neighbor, yes.
Who
the
she
mechanic.
Believes is the mechanic and the murderer.
Yeah.
While Macon and Keisha go inside to see if Sam can also come inside... Sam helps herself into T's place, and she starts to spy on him, trying to find evidence. She begins to open up some mystery box as T comes back in, because apparently he does not close his
It is
door.
fucking brazen of her, just walking in.
To this man's house.
To this man's house. It's illegal.
Right.
And it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I was on edge watching them, get the fuck out of this man's house.
But she comes back, and T comes back, and she runs away. Macon gets blamed for being in T's house because Sam didn't have a chance to put away the box that she was about to look through. Macon calls Sam out for being up to something. And she bribes him into keeping his mouth shut. And honestly, at this point, he's just getting more and more insufferable.
He's
don't
so
like
annoying.
this
No,
child.
he's so annoying. He's possible for redemption.
Yeah.
He's still a kid.
But it's... But she calls the detective once more and asks him to run T's name, which she found out is Anthony Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he doesn't... Even if you think I'm crazy, just run his name for me. Alright, so we're in the next scene.
She needs to find a new cop to help her.
Yeah, because this guy's not... As we know, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
In the next scene, we see Joe and Macon talking, and Sam sort of enters the scene, and she sees them speaking, so she thinks Macon is ratting her out. But he was just telling Joe about the fact that she has a horse and a farm, and Joe invites all the kids to her house.
Yeah.
Without asking her.
No, what happened was, Macon told Joe that she said that everyone could go. You know it was part of his grip.
You're right.
Yeah.
He was trying to, fuck with her.
Right, because she had promised to take Keisha. That was part of one of their deals, was to take Keisha because Keisha loves horses and had never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
But instead he goes straight to Joe and says, so Sam said that everybody can go to her farm and hang out with that horse.
That's right, because as Joe took the information in, you see Macon looking at her really, mischievously. He's like, I got her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, he ratted me out. And Joe's like, I heard you got a horse and a farm and we're all invited.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, totally, sure.
Yo, yeah, that sounds great. I want dozens of kids at my house.
Right. Not know that child lied to you again.
Yeah. But hearts are warmed as the kids get to the house and
somehow managed to find fun on a farm.
Right. But we are once again reminded that Joe has not dialysized recently.
Yeah, we watch him go to it and then get called away from it and be like, oh, okay, and go to the thing that he's being called. Yeah, it's like somebody's like, hey, can you help me with this thing? He's like, yeah.
I should do that instead of dialysis.
Yeah, he's holding his side, he's clearly in pain, which also none of the adults around him are like, dude, go do your fucking I got
dialysis.
This. Go do your dialysis.
Yeah,
not like, you okay?
Joe
you good?
If he's done his dialysis,
right?
And tell him to do it because
somebody
apparently
needs
he's
to take
a child
responsibility,
man.
Right? Somebody needs to be like, yeah. Oh, did you do it yet? No, then go do it. We'll take care of everything else. Right. Not keep pulling him away when he's clearly in pain. He's sweating.
Right. Yeah, he's holding his side.
He's side,
walking
limping,
slower. Yeah.
and sweating profusely. And people are like, "Hey, can I help you unload these groceries?" I'm like,
He's like, "Oh, absolutely, I should do that instead of this."
Yeah, you're like, "Okay, I can't say no. I've never learned how."
But Sam shows Keisha the horse and tells her that the horse can keep everything safe. You can say anything to the horse, and it'll stay with the horse.
Classic magical horse trope.
That's right.
From horse movies. Horses aren't magic. They're awful.
But Joe is growing weaker, as he does need dialysis, but we move on once more to more kid adventures. There's cows, and there's swans, and there's a waterfall, and paper boats, and there's a kayak.
The geese chasing the kids is one of my favorite. I loved that. Like, you see it, like, from inside a barn, so it's just, like, an open barn door. You see the kids chasing these geese across, or swans. What were they? Swans? Whatever. And then, like, a second later, they're being chased by the geese swans.
Yeah.
Which is how they work. Groups of large birds are terrifying. Don't ever chase them. They will chase back.
But Sam is talking to Joe. And she points out that Denise wants that P in her V.
Oh, yeah. She's like, what's that about? And, like,
yeah, and we cut to Denise's, like, a close-up of her eyes just eyeing Joe. Like,
yeah, just like giving
they're very strong fuck-me eyes.
Hardcore. Yes. Denise wants some Joe.
Which is fair.
He wants a cup of Joe. She wants a cup of Joe.
Because he's very pretty.
He's very pretty. And they clearly know each other and work well together. And, like, this is her idea, and it's, like, his passion, too. And they're meant to be together.
That's right. I don't know when it was told, but Denise gave him the idea of, like, taking care of the kids in the neighborhood.
Right. Basically having, like, a little after-school program for, like, at-risk kids.
And she helps him, and he helps her.
Yeah, it's precious, and they should get married.
But he's mostly embarrassed about it at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about? I don't want to talk about that. And he blushes a little bit. But now is the best time for me to mention that Diane has always been here, doing most of the work,
Diane?
honestly. Did I say Diane? Denise.
Yeah. Denise, okay.
Denise is always around.
Yes.
But Joe is clearly the face of the movie.
Right.
But Denise is also doing most of the work. Joe is the charisma.
Right.
And he's, like, in the face. The kids like him.
She's doing all the background work, like the actual putting things together.
She also gets almost no lines in the movie.
No, it's true. She exists to be, a potential romantic partner.
Yeah.
At least they give her credit for, like, coming up with the idea and, like, being there for the kids.
They do talk about her.
Yeah.
It's just that I feel like if Denise is so integral, they should maybe give her some lines in the movie.
Right.
Like, why do her and Joe like each other? Do they have any chemistry?
Yeah.
Do they get along?
Chemistry's not important to these people.
That's true. We've seen Sam and her husband.
Exactly.
They barely know each other.
Yeah, chemistry does not factor in here. It's not necessary.
Joe now tells a story of when country music saved his life in prison.
It's the second time Sam saved his life.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we cut to Joe in prison, and he's trying to make prison friends with this older white guy. While he's doing this, they're talking over lunch. This black guy, who seems to be in charge of the black guys in prison, called Big Mac, is enforcing very strict racial rules about staying with his own kind.
Yes. He also has a handmade knife or shiv.
He's got a shiv.
So we know that he can't be messed with.
Right. So we see in the next, essentially, part of the story, Joe and this other guy are cleaning the floors while some country music is playing. And the other guy, who is also black, if it matters, shuts it off in frustration. And the guards of the prison take this opportunity to release all of the white prisoners so that they can start a fight and or murder and or riot. Right. But Joe diffuses the situation by playing the music again and singing along in a very, honestly, minstrelly way. Yep. It's pretty uncomfortable. A little uncomfortable. But I get it because, again, it's one
of those... He's playing it up. He's keeping his friend alive. Like, he's keeping...
But, see, that's the thing. Like, it is minstrelly, but it also is real.
Yeah, no.
Because you would need to be like, I love Hank Williams and I just want to sing songs.
I'm just like you. Yeah, just here to entertain.
Yeah, so he does it, and he does manage to diffuse the situation.
Yeah.
And
earn some respect from the whites.
Right. The point of the story is that Sam and her brethren, her white people in this town, played country music his entire life, so he knew it and was able to diffuse the situation. Yeah. Because he'd been exposed to it his entire life. Right. It was a whole thing. So that prompts Joe to play some very loud country music to make the kids dance to it as well. Yep. So he's just trying to get them all into it.
And we learn he has no rhythm. For a black man.
That's true.
Joe has zero rhythm. It's fine. He's pretty.
But he is also trying to do country dancing.
And still, you can do it in beat, like, in time.
That's true. Sam gets a call back from the detective, who tells her that T, Anthony Jones, has an alibi. And to stay out of the projects, you dumbass. He doesn't say dumbass, but he's basically like, what are you doing in the projects? Stay out of it.
He's probably also like, just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you'll die soon.
Yeah.
Get out of my hair.
T was an initial suspect, as he says.
And
but
he had an alibi. Yeah.
He was with his cousin that night.
Which is also curious.
Right.
We'll talk about that later.
This prompts her to have another flashback. And honestly, I'm sick of flashbacks.
Especially since they're really abrupt.
Yeah. But she has another flashback about being given some award shortly after her husband got shot in the face. And she gives a speech about
stomach, but fine.
Face.
You didn't get shot in the face?
Face.
Okay, whatever.
She gives a speech. Anyone who gets shot in the face. That's rules.
Oh, okay. This is Josh rules?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
My rules.
You gotta write these down for me.
She gives a speech about how her husband wanted to spread love through $2 bills because he thought they were super cool or something. I didn't understand what.
Here's why. People think $2 bills are special. They're still in production. Those things are not going to be worth anything. I used to work at a restaurant that gave back change in $2 bills and $1 coins, and people would be like, give me $20 bills to turn into twos like I'm a bank. I'm just like, you can go to the bank and do this. Yeah, like these are not rare or weird. Like we're not giving you more money.
They are uncommon in use.
In use.
But they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're stupid. Yeah, like
I mean, I see the point of them.
No, people are are giving them to their grandchildren instead of like college savings. Yeah. They're like I'm just saving all these $2 bills for my grandkids. We're like, well, that's going to be worth $2 each.
Right. Whatever $2 is worth in the future.
Right.
But it'll be worth $2.
$2. Yes, I mean they'll be worth what? Yeah, it's
they'll actually be worth less because of inflation. So they'll be worth $1.67.
Exactly.
But still.
You should probably put this in some sort of bond.
Yeah, I don't understand the obsession with I like $2 bills. I think they're cool.
Yeah,
but you're right. Like
they were the bane of my existence for 4 years.
I think it would make sense to replace $1 with $2 because almost everything costs. At least
heavy? $1 coins. It's not heavy. $1 bills.
That's true.
And we had to carry around $1 coins, weighing down my little apron.
Yeah, but basically, he thinks that $2 bills are super cool, and he wants to spread love through them, and she wants to keep that going. But whatever the plan or the purpose is, she isn't really able to finish because she's very sad. She starts crying and she runs off the stage.
Right.
Because, again...
Thank you, I'm sorry.
He's very recently been shot in the face.
Right.
Back in the present, Joe finds her in her workspace, where she mostly draws pictures of the murderer, or the supposed murderer, with the red hoodie and everything. Mm-hmm. And we find out that she's stopped writing because she doesn't believe in it anymore. Because the hopeful little girl that she was has died.
No, she just wasn't going to write Firebird because she didn't believe in it anymore.
But she's stopped writing entirely, I think.
Yeah, she doesn't really work at all, but that was the thing. He's like, did you write that Firebird story?
That's true.
And she's like, no, because I don't believe it anymore. She doesn't believe there's any light anywhere.
Right. Firebird is the point of what she stopped writing, but as far as we can tell, she's stopped entirely making kids' books.
Or doing
anything. I don't know what she does for work.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's an author, she's get residuals.
Or maybe, or if he had a life insurance policy.
True, too.
Yeah.
So we don't know what she's doing for money, but presumably she's doing okay. Or she just owns this farm and doesn't need that much money. Right.
Maybe there's actually some money in the farm.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is very expensive to run. Keeping a horse alive, so much harder than keeping a human alive. At least financially. At least horses don't go to college.
Right. Sam cries very heavily, and Joe consoles her, while Joe starts to die himself. Denise.
He brought his dialysis machine to the farm.
And he still hasn't done it.
Still hasn't used it. He goes out of his way to bring it with him. And he just, keeps hanging out in the barn and, refuses to go and try. Yeah, oh my God, whatever.
Shortly after the cry session, Denise finds him and checks on his dialysis status again.
Yep.
Because apparently this man needs a woman to take care of him.
Attention. And care. Yes.
Not because he needs it, emotionally.
No.
He needs it because he's too stupid to do it otherwise.
Yeah, he needs somebody, picking him up and moving him.
To do dialysis.
Yes. I'm guessing she brushes his teeth for him, too.
But he promises Denise that he will do it again. Denise encourages him to stay with Sam, because clearly she needs him for the night or whatever, which is very strange, I think, if you are, interested in this man.
Yeah.
I thought it was really weird.
Even
if you think they're platonic, it's still strange.
Yeah.
Like, stay with her tonight. She needs you.
Right.
I'll take care of the kids.
Which is, it was true.
Yeah.
But also kind of like not a typical
right.
interested female reaction.
Right. It's very unusual.
So you watch the kids, I'll talk to her. Lady to lady.
Right.
You know.
That would be the more...
Keep that really, really pretty white woman away from this dude.
Right. But she does say that Joe owes her. And she requests a proper dance from him.
Yep, she has to make the moves.
So she makes a move.
Yeah.
And it's like, you owe me a dance. And he's like, okay, I
guess
I do.
Like, well, she basically said, you owe me a date.
Right.
Like, let's go do some proper dancing sometime. Right. Yeah.
And so he goes off to care for Sam.
Yeah.
And on the way out...
Instead of dialysis.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
God.
Again, he's leaning up against the wall because he can't stand on his own.
But on the way out the door back to the bus, Keisha does whisper to the horse.
Yeah, it's actually a really cute moment.
It's pretty.
It was really well filmed. Also, that horse was very well behaved, and that little girl was not even kind of scared of it. If I was her size, going up to a horse, like, I would be a little more apprehensive. She just, like, walked up, grabbed its face, and, like, grabbed its little ear.
Rah!
Yeah, no.
Let me whisper it.
Exactly it. She, like, grabbed his little ear and just, like, whispers into it, and the horse is like, okay, all right.
Cool story, man.
Oh, all right.
Like
well, I'm here if you need anything else. Like, that was it. Yeah, it was actually
Yeah,
whatever.
She does grab the whole head
For
of
two
that
things
horse.
I don't enjoy, children and horses. It was a cute scene.
Okay.
It was a good scene.
And so, now in the next scene, Joe still has not gone on dialysis.
No.
He has his machine with him, but him and Sam are in the forest for some reason. And he tells us his storied history. His kidneys shut down a couple of years ago.
Yep.
So he's on permanent disability. He also graduated top of his class in college as a computer engineer.
Yep.
But he went to jail for taking a bet to hack into a bank.
Right, so he's a computer guy. He had like a career set up. IBM had hired him, all this stuff, but he
He fucked it up because he took this bet that he could hack a bank, and that got him in prison.
Stole $200 from a bank via hacking.
Right.
And got how many years?
No, he didn't steal from the bank.
Yeah,
he got $200 for the bet.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think that's what it was. Like, he didn't actually do anything for the bank. It's just that breaking into banks is illegal.
Oh.
He got 200 bets for dollars for doing it.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
Yeah. But it's an understandable misunderstanding. He said he went to jail for like 10 years for $200.
Right.
But the bet was $200.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes more sense.
It's just that it's illegal to hack banks. Reasonably, I think.
I think that's, I'm okay with that.
Back in prison, Joe's old guy, white guy friend shows up on the black side of the yard looking for Joe. But he's attacked by Big Mac. Mm-hmm. And Joe tries to help. But Big Mac takes the white guy by the throat with his shiv, and he threatens to cut his throat. And he says, Joe, you're going to spit in this white man's face like they've been doing to us for 400 years, or Big Mac's going to kill him. Joe takes the opportunity to pick a fight instead.
Yep.
And he beats the ever-loving shit out of two more dudes.
Yeah.
And then Big Mac himself.
Yep.
He almost kills Big Mac. He has the opportunity. He grabs his shiv and he raises it to his face, but then he stops himself. And this is the moment that Joe realized how far his anger and pride had taken him. And while in solitary, after this fight, he converts to Christianity. The anger and the pride is also part of the bet that got him in prison in the first place.
Right.
And so, he realizes that he needs God.
I always wonder how many people actually convert to Christianity in prison, or how many use it as a way to explain that they've changed.
Yeah.
Because, just being like, no, I'm a Christian now. Christian people are like, oh,
great.
Now you're a good person.
It's pretty common, yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you'd have to do a study.
You would have to do an intensive study, because you couldn't just look it up. You have to ask them, okay, do you actually believe in this, or is this your way out?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if anybody would be honest. Anyway, curious.
You'd have to probably follow prisoners.
Yeah.
Follow their parole hearings.
Right.
And then follow up with them a few years later.
Right.
It could be done.
It could be done. Yeah.
But it would take a while.
It's not the kind of time I have.
Plus, we're not exactly
I got the curiosity. I do not have the time. I guess, or skills. Yeah.
But he felt his love, capital H, for the first time in prison, and being around the kids every day makes him feel the same way. While finishing the story, he finally starts to get too weak to continue because he needs dialysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the good news is he's brought his machine with him, and so Sam helps set him up. And he could have done this at literally any point in the last hour of this movie, but we have to remember that he's a complete fucking idiot.
Also, I think he likes getting help.
That might be baby.
I think he really likes people. He's like, I need your help. I need your help. He says that several times. Like, he needed her help to bring juice to children. He needed her help to get on dialysis because he waited too long. He can do it himself.
That's true.
Yeah. Even when he when we first meet him, he's like, I need help. He says that out loud.
He's praying, yeah.
Yeah.
So while he's
looking for a wife. Sorry, he's looking for a wife type.
While he is on dialysis, we talk about Keisha a little bit more. And she stops talking after seeing her mom get murdered and the house set on fire by the murderer. And Joe reveals that it was T that saved her. He heard Keisha's cries from inside the burning house, and he jumped in and he got her out. Macon was out of the house, so he was fine. Sam starts to cry because she thought that T killed her husband, but he's not so bad after all.
Or she's now super conflicted because she still thinks he killed her husband, but he also saved Keisha. So is he good or bad? Well,
she does burn the drawing that she's made of the red hoodie to kill her.
Right.
Because she is experiencing what I believe we're supposed to interpret as catharsis.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's not the one. I can let this go. I can move on. But she burns the thing. But we still have a half an hour left in this movie, so what's going to happen next? The next morning, the kids are having fun, and Sam is at peace for the first time in however long since her husband got shot, and Macon goes off to find Joe, and he's lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Something's clearly gone wrong with his dialysis, and we quickly find out from a doctor that his body has rejected dialysis, and he needs a transplant as soon as possible, or he will be dead.
And this is where you have to ask, did his body reject dialysis, or did he reject dialysis?
Yes. That's my...
If he had done it when he was supposed to consistently, would this be a problem? We can't know. So. I'm not a doctor.
I don't know for certain, but I cannot imagine that it would have at least happened as quickly.
Right.
Because kidney failure is a thing, and dialysis rejection is a thing. But I'm pretty sure they're both stages that you can keep track of.
Right.
What's happened is he went from mostly healthy, but needing dialysis, to dying.
Right.
And needs a transplant, or he will be dead.
Right.
There's no...
No, I know.
There's no progression here. Because it has to be that he exacerbated the situation by refusing to just do it.
He for sure did not help his situation. We know that. Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing as chemo, which I have done.
Yes.
If you have to, and I had to rearrange some stuff in my schedule. The doctor tells you your chemo is on this day every week. You go.
Right.
It's not a negotiation.
No.
If you need to move it, absolutely, they will say, here's your options. One day before or one day after.
It's not a checkup.
Right.
Yeah.
You're pushing this 2 months.
We're not just checking your heart rate.
Yes. Okay, you're set for Wednesday, so we can do Tuesday or we can do Thursday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but I'm going to be out of town. Be like, then you need to find a hospital out of town that will give you chemo.
Right.
Those are your choices.
Or stop making these kinds of plans.
Right. You're in chemo right now. You don't get an option.
No.
Here.
Yeah.
Joe decided that dialysis was optional. He can do it just at the last moment when he needs it.
Yeah.
And now his kidneys have completely rejected it, and he's dying, and it's entirely his fault.
Yeah.
I'm reasonably
partially.
Sure.
Yeah. Partially entirely.
I think it's safe to say almost entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not his fault his kidneys failed, but it's his fault that he did.
We don't know why his kidneys failed either.
I assume that wasn't his fault.
No, I'm assuming too. Yeah, I'm just saying, we don't really know anything.
But this particular situation is on him for being a dumbass.
Yeah. He needed to have at least a moment where he's like, fuck, I fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, I needed him to recognize that he maybe...
But Sam goes in to see him in his deathbed, and it's literally his deathbed, because he tells her that he heard the doctors talking, and they don't even think he's going to survive a surgery to get a transplant.
Right.
They're still going to try.
Is this where you also thought she was going to give him a kidney?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was definitely a moment I was like, oh, she's going to give him a kidney.
100%, because they're like, she saved his life this time. She saved his life this time. I thought it was like, and now she's going to save his life with a kidney. I swear. Spoiler alert, she doesn't give him a kidney. That's why I'm saying it like this. Yeah, it seems like the most logical next step.
I hadn't connected the fact that he mentioned that she saved his life twice already.
Right. That's their whole,
It's weird that she, at this point in the movie, because of the script, it's weird that she doesn't give him a kidney.
It's bizarro that she doesn't give him a kidney.
I mean, granted, to actually be an organ transplant match is relatively rare.
Right, but that she didn't even offer it, or like, can you check to see if I match?
Yeah.
Which potentially, because of like a gender and race might factor in. Right. I have no idea how it all works. But
the blood types is a thing.
At least like her being like, take my kidney, I was going to kill myself anyway. Like,
right.
That seems.
I don't even drink.
Right, yeah. I thought she was going to somehow die. And she was an organ donor, and she ended up saving him the one final time. I thought that was going to be the epic way it ended.
She does shoot herself after all?
She does kill herself. Or she kills herself, or she does something, like, harrowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it saves, like, Keisha's life again, or something like that, and then ends up giving a kidney, I don't know, with a $2 bill stapled to it. I have no idea.
Yeah. But while he's dying, or, telling her this information, she tells him a story. Because this is what these two do to each other, I guess.
They do.
And it's one of her silly kid stories. But this one is a new twist, because it's about a little boy called Samurai Joe, and he's super awesome, and he meets his former and current best friend as an adult, and she drew him a picture of him as a samurai surrounded by children, and he cries, and she cries, and we all cries, and it's all cries.
Yeah, it's very emotional. It's actually
really
cute.
Is this the part where you got choked up?
Yep.
It's not ineffective.
It's not ineffective. Also, he can emote. He's an actor. He's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, it's not just that he's good looking. He's actually a good actor. There's a reason he has a career.
As a sympathy crier, because when I see people
crier too.
I cry.
Yeah.
It didn't work on me, but I could definitely see how it could.
Yes. Especially when it was like around midnight that I was watching this.
Right.
I was like, I'm so tired.
My sympathy usually only works in person, but it is possible in movies too. If someone's crying and it's really good, I'm like, oh, stop crying.
Man, Rachel McAdams' cry face makes me cry 100% of the time. I don't know how she does it. It's very scrunchy. Anyway.
She's got a scrunchy face.
Yeah, scrunchy cry face.
In the next scene, Macon talks to the caretaker for bus money to go see Joe. And she laments that there's a shortage of good men in the world, and it's like the earth only wants so many to exist at a time.
Yeah, God's a dick, is what she says.
God's a dick.
Without saying it.
But it's a tragedy that Joe is dying, but that Macon should just let him die in peace. She does leave the choice up to him and tells him there's money on the whatever.
Yeah, she had money in her drawer.
Yeah, and Macon goes and boards the bus, and he goes to see Joe.
Yeah.
And he confesses that it was his fault that Keisha got hit by the car because he was stealing. And he does show Joe his report card with all A's on it.
Yep. This is where I actually got really choked up. Go on.
We find out that he didn't want to show the report card because the other boys in his class said that it's stupid to try hard in class, and it wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool to be smart.
Yeah.
Or successful.
And Joe tells him that Macon is one of the smartest and most gifted kids he's ever met. And Macon takes the opportunity to ask for a favor, and it's a pretty hefty one. And honestly, this choked you up. I thought it was really weird.
Not that part. It was when he told him he was proud of him. And you know that it really affected Macon. Yeah. Like when he's like, I'm so proud of you. And Macon...
Yeah, the smartest and gifted kids, yeah.
Right, yeah. And he's like, I'm really proud of you. You know that like a kid being told with a kid without like parents, especially a dad figure, having somebody that you consider a dad figure tell you that they're proud of you. Right. Ugh.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the favor he asks is, Macon asks Joe, on his deathbed, if he will be Macon's dad.
Right. Poor timing.
But he's dying of kidney failure, so good luck, nerd.
Yeah,
go find a new dad.
That's not how he says it.
He doesn't say that.
No, he just says, I wish I could. And then he's just there sweaty and crying.
Yeah, he's really sad that he can't.
Right, but he also doesn't explain. He's like, as you can see, I'm not doing well. Like,
but I don't think he needs to explain. Macon knows he's dying.
I think so, yeah.
Macon's a smart
kid. But the same, like, I really wish he would drive it home. You're like, no, like,
Here's the thing. I'm going to die.
If I knew I was definitely going to be alive, I would be your father. Because I think he would.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sam is right outside the hospital room. And she overhears all of this, and she's crying as well. But she takes Macon home. And we find out that Keisha is back to talking, though only in whispers. She's whispering in the caretaker's ear. And Sam gets the credit for this because of the visit to the farm.
Right.
And she goes inside Macon and Keisha's house for the first time. Because remember, the last time she was going to do this, she broke into another guy's house instead.
Right. She was invited in to help to these children who are starting to trust her. Right. And instead she breaks into a neighbor's house.
And then runs away.
Yep. And doesn't even say goodbye.
But inside, she sees Keisha's drawings for the first time because Keisha likes to draw as well. And she draws ducks and butterflies and a picture of her and Sam together. And Sam also sees a bird drawing, and she freaks the fuck out.
loses her fucking shit.
She completely freaks out. Even Keisha's like, what's happening?
No. I was like, oh, you need to tell that child it's not, whatever's happening is not her fault, because that kid is like, oh, I brought this woman into my room and now she's yelling at me. Yeah.
She's like, where'd you get that bird drawing?
Where did you get this bird?
What happened?
Where did you get this bird?
It's the same bird drawing that...
It's her Firebird.
Yes, it's the Firebird drawing. She gave it to her husband earlier.
Yeah.
Like, literally gave it to him.
Yeah.
And...
It's not the exact drawing. It's Keisha. Keisha drew...
Right. A version of
this bird, but it's very clearly the same bird.
So Keisha got the bird from T, the next door neighbor, who showed her how to do it because he's the only thing...
It's the only thing he can draw.
Right. It's the only thing he can draw very well, so he showed Keisha how to do it as well.
Right.
So Sam runs outside, and she starts to call the police, but instead she grabs her gun, and she goes to shoot T in the face.
Right.
See?
Breaks into his house again. He's not there.
She walks straight into his house because he's got to learn to close and lock his door.
Dude, what the fuck?
But she goes into his drawer again with the box that she was opening earlier, and she pulls out the same drawing of the bird that she gave her husband.
Yep, all bloody with his blood.
Mm-hmm. And as she looks at this, T walks in and says, "What are you doing here?" And she turns the gun on him and points it in his face. And she accuses him of killing her husband, but instead, he says that her husband wanted him to give her a message. And we're back in flashback mode.
Yep.
And her husband is working late one night. He's fixing, I bet he's an electrician. He fixes a generator
or something, yeah.
And he's working late one night and at like a convenience store, and T is outside of it. And they meet, and he fixes it, and he's waiting for something, I don't know what, but him and T end up talking for like an hour.
Well, he was like, I think he was going to come in, the guy was like, you want some coffee? I could put a pot on. So the guy was going to make him brew him a batch of coffee, and that's why he was just hanging out. And then he offered food to T.
Right. So him and T share the sandwich and coffee, and then they talk for at least an hour, that's what he says, about all sorts of stuff. And then after he tried to leave, T helped him get his truck started because he is a mechanic and he's good at cars. Mm-hmm. Husbando said that he'd be back the next day, but he was shot shortly thereafter by suspects unknown.
We watch T walking away, and in the background you hear the shots ring out. So and T turns and runs back to the scene. Right.
T runs to the scene. He sees the guy who did kill her husband, and the guy shoots at T, but T...
Surprise, it's a white guy!
Which was, good. Good for them.
Yes.
And he's not wearing a red hoodie or anything.
No, he's not.
This is not the same guy. T, by the way, is wearing a red hoodie. Yeah. And he is a mechanic, so he has a mechanic's rag.
Right. It was T that was there.
It was T that was there.
He
just was not the
perpetrator.
Shooter. But he gets shot at by the guy, but he doesn't get hit. And the other guy, the murderer, runs away. And so T goes to the husband and sort of, it's like, I'm going to go find some help. But husband gives T the drawing of the bird.
Which he had, like, in his wallet, yeah.
Yeah, and he tells him, tell Sam to always walk on the clouds. It's a thing that she had said earlier to him.
No, it's the Firebird story.
It's the Firebird story.
Yeah.
So T knew the police would blame him, and they did just arrive, so he ran away. But
Smart.
He's never been the same since. And on the back of the bird drawing, there's also a $2 bill.
Yep.
And Sam sees this, and she freaks the fuck out, and she just cries.
Crumples. She just crumples, and she puts the gun down, and she crumples up.
And T helps her, and they sort of they embrace, and she cries for so long. And so now, the next scene is her getting a letter from Joe about her eyes are full of pain, but he knows that with pain comes a new way of seeing things. He's never felt more alive now than when he's here on the edge of death. And he's convinced that taking care of the children can help her, just like they helped him. So she gets welcomed as family by Macon and the rest of the caretaker and Keisha. Mm-hmm. And Joe tells her to find her stride, find peace, and continue sharing her story and find a way to believe again.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like making his deathbed wishes. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And this is a point, if it wasn't obvious, where they try to fake us out because they show Samantha visiting a grave.
Right.
But it's her husband's because Joe and Denise show up and they're together finally.
Yep, they are so an it couple.
They're holding hands.
Yep. Banging.
Which is a nice twist, I guess, because one would expect that Sam and Joe would get together, but it's Joe and Denise.
No, yeah, I like it better.
And the movie closes with Sam finally writing and telling stories again. She spreads more love through $2 bills, and T, and Joe, and Denise, and Macon, and Keisha, and Sam, and the old lady are all a great big happy family.
Yep.
We see them celebrating a birthday.
Yep.
T has a little funny hat on, and he's doing a little dance.
We never figure out, like, I thought there was going to be something to how he got a kidney. I thought there would be some kind of, like, fortuitous...
He got a kid. They did say in the scene about him getting a kid, there was one on the way.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of
okay, so I guess he showed up.
Yeah. And he didn't die after all.
Yeah, I guess that's more realistic.
And so Sam gives a final climactic speech about how God's love is like the sun, constant and unchanging, and nothing can take it away. So she's saved again now, and the movie is over. But first, a quick statistic. As the movie ends, it hits black.
Yeah.
And it tells us that 28% of children live without their biological father, and over 24 million of them are in America. And Joe is a real person who really married Denise and has 7 kids now.
It's a true story. What? Kind of.
He still has many children who call him Papa Joe.
Yeah.
And you can bring hope and change into the life of these kids by visiting unconditionalthemovie.com/act.
Right.
ACT.
Which make it sound like that was a true story, but they only talked about Joe, so I don't know if Samantha was a real person. I assume not, because that was a pretty dramatic,
right.
extreme story.
That's your charity call for this episode.
Oh yeah, throw it out there again.
It sounds good. Unconditionalthemovie.com/act.
All right.
And it's apparently a link to other charities that'll help Joe and people like Joe take care of children. At-risk kids. Get out there and help them children just like Joe.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right, so we're finishing up.
Okay.
What was the best and what was the worst?
Best was... I have no fucking idea. I liked this movie. It was an okay movie.
Mm-hmm. I will give a best, so I can preempt you some. I think the best was...
It has a good message. Like,
it's not obnoxious.
It's not obnoxious.
It's not overly religious.
Right, no.
It is religious, but it's not overly so.
Right. It's just, what it's trying to teach is a good actual lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it handles racism well.
That's the best part. You're right. It actually confronts a racism issue. It doesn't fix it.
No.
One can't just fix racism.
Right, and it doesn't sugarcoat it as most
But it also
movies
doesn't sugarcoat it. It just talks about the fact that race is a real issue.
Yeah.
And it handles it. That's the best part.
That is the best part. Worst part would probably have to be how difficult it is to root for a guy no matter how great he is when he can't handle the simplest of tasks to keep himself alive.
We agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. Oh my god, Joe is so frustrating because he's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I like you.
Yeah.
But why are you so stupid?
Yeah, everything else you do is great. Like, I have no other complaints. You're superhuman. Superhuman.
But
what
you're
the fuck, man?
So fucking dumb.
Of all the things to neglect, this is the one thing. Right.
Like, it's the same
It's like you forgot to eat for a week because he was helping people too much.
It's the same as relationships, right?
Yeah.
There's the whole idea you can't love anyone until you love yourself.
Right.
Joe, you can't help anyone if you're fucking dead.
Put your gas mask on first.
You stupid.
You put your oxygen mask on a plane first, then help your children and your surrounding passengers.
I also really hated how most of the story was told in flashback.
Yeah.
But that's, whatever. It's an annoying narrative choice, but it worked. It was effective. It was just irritating.
I agree.
Like, every time I see a fire, flashback. I see a bird, flashback. It was just like, stop! But it's fine.
It was kind of
I don't know if I would say I liked it, but I did not hate it.
The one thing I meant to mention before, it was like, when we find out the whole story from T, like how it actually went down, who was the cousin who lied for him?
Yeah, there's a cousin who lied for him.
Yeah. Because he had, he was there, but he had an alibi.
No, it's kind of like, but I mean... It would happen.
It would happen. Yeah, but I just thought that was funny because
hey, Kozo, I was with you all day, okay?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We were here, Xbox, no big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I would do the same for most people.
But I thought it was funny.
Like, I might ask him, like, did you murder or rape anybody?
No.
No? Like, okay, fine.
No, I have friends who are like, I was with you. I'm like, all right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, if you need disposal of anything, you just let me know.
So there's very few people who I would just give a blanket alibi to. I usually have to know what you did.
Yeah.
Again, rape and murder. Those are basically the two big things.
Right.
Otherwise, you have an alibi.
The murder self-defense, though, I'm there for you.
Murder and self-defense, you're fine. Depends on who you murdered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also that, yeah.
But those are the two rules. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm with him. Like, I was with you, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We'll discuss it later so that I know the actual story.
Right.
Right.
All right. And next week... we are going back to Hillary's childhood.
Yeah.
Less so mine, but I am familiar with our subject for next week. It is a very wholesome, great little kids show about a boy and his dog.
Mm-hmm. It is very 60s.
It's very 60s. It's very creepy.
It's very
We both
creepy.
find claymation really creepy.
I'm very
right?
uncomfortable with claymation, yeah.
Yes. If you haven't connected the dots yet, we are going to do several episodes of Davey and Goliath, which is a show funded by the official Lutheran church, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure.
I can't wait to research this actually because I have memories of it. I remember at least seeing a handful of episodes. It's in my mind,
right?
But I didn't watch it.
If you're not super familiar with it like me, you've certainly seen the parodies of it. It's about a boy. He's got a big round head, and his dog talks to him.
Yeah,
it does talk.
In a dog voice.
It talks in a dog voice like this, where Davey's like, "I'm Davey."
Right, very 60s.
Yeah. So you've almost certainly seen the jokes of it, where it's like, "Hey, Davey, make sure you go write a thank you note to the neighbor." And Davey's like, "You're right. I should do that."
I feel like SNL made fun of it back in the day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's made fun of it.
Right.
But it's a whole thing, and we're going to do Davey and Goliath for next week. Of course, since it's been around for 50 years, it's easy to find anywhere.
It's all on YouTube. Yeah, it's all on YouTube.
All of it.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so get hyped for that. And remember, if you like the show, please give us some of those 5-star reviews on whatever podcatcher or website you are using. And tell your friends about us. Sit them down, put Noah Snark into their podcast app thing, and download it for them.
Be like, you're welcome.
You can share a link or share a social media post for us. Please do. We need your help. And don't forget that we do have a website at noahssnarkpodcast.com. And on the website, you can find all of our episodes as well as links to our social media, which I've also included in the description of this episode. You can go there, and you can also send us a comment or a question so we can have a mailbag segment, which is all I want.
Yes.
It's my dream.
Yeah. Please.
Please.
Give us ideas, too.
That's true. If you have anything you want to cover, it can be of any religion or any media type.
Right.
Let us know, because I want to do it.
Yeah.
And as always, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Bye.